Welcome to another Marvel Art Journal video. Today we're talking about Avengers Age of Ultron. This is actually another movie on the list that I saw when it first came out in the movie theater, and not since. And it's so funny because I didn't like it when I first saw it, but I realized this movie would be so hard to enjoy if you had never seen a Thor movie, never seen a Captain America movie, never seen an Iron Man movie. You know what I mean? So now that I have seen all those films, this movie was so much more fun. I have a feeling that maybe it's a little polarizing amongst the general audience. Just please keep in mind when you watch my Marvel videos, I don't know any of that. I don't really know anything about how people felt about the movies and stuff. I just am kind of going on what I thought was fun. So anyway, okay. So this movie I didn't really remember much of it at all, except for a few things here and there. I will say, I think that my viewing of this movie was heavily impacted by watching WandaVision. And in that same vein, I highly recommend rewatching it after watching WandaVision, just to see it again if you haven't seen it in a while. It was really interesting to see all those things that we saw in WandaVision happen in real time, as far as Pietro's death. And we saw a little bit more of the behind the scenes of the when she first was affected by the Mind Stone, or whatever. And so to see the aftermath of that, and it was just really cool. I really enjoyed it. And then obviously seeing Vision come to life gives me chills when I think about it, almost solely because of WandaVision. And remember, I still haven't seen Infinity War, I still haven't seen Civil War, and I still haven't seen Endgame. So I feel like this whole thing is just going to blow my mind. And I'm really happy that I watched WandaVision, even though I didn't have a lot of context, because getting the context now as I watch through all the films has been so much fun. So as far as what I didn't like about this movie, I thought that the first action sequence in the forest it felt really glitchy. I don't know, it felt I felt like the rest of the effects and animation, if you will, and all that stuff, CGI, etc., in this film was so fine. It didn't, I thought it was just fine. But that first scene just felt super I don't know, kind of spastic, just not as good quality. So that was when that first started that, I was oh, is that what this movie's like? But it wasn't. And then as far as other things I didn't really like, I will say the whole thing with Thor. And I know that apparently there are deleted scenes. I think once I've watched everything, I'm probably going to go back and do a lot of behind the scenes and deleted scene watching, as well as some of the breakdowns I want to watch and listen to and stuff. But so yeah, I think that the Thor thing was more fleshed out in the deleted scenes rather, but it just didn't really make... I always like seeing Selvig again. I think he's a fun character. And I was happy to see him after now seeing all the Thor movies and everything. But I feel like the visions that Wanda, no pun intended, that Wanda put into the Avengers' minds, which were obviously intended for them to question everyone's allegiances and to kind of help them turn on each other and question their own reality, etc. And then Thor wants to go seek out based on his vision, which was scary, with Heimdall and all that. Then he wants to go seek out this pool of water where he has a bigger vision of the stones. I think I need to I need to rewatch this movie And this is a movie that I would rewatch. Honestly, I really enjoyed it. So that was a little shaky for me. But I did think that Ultron was a really cool villain. I thought that it was just like really complex because he's like obviously artificial intelligence. It's like all the bad things about Tony and Stark Industries technology, coming to life, which was really interesting, especially after everything that's happened to Tony and the tech and how it impacted his body and his life and the way the government uses it and blah, blah, blah. So that was really cool. And I dug that. And then I also loved seeing the Claw guy who I have a picture of him there, AKA Andy Serkis. I'm always happy to see Andy Serkis, of course, but I do like Black Panther is one of the Marvel movies that I've seen and that I'm most familiar with because it was incredible. And so I knew that he was from Black Panther, and then they were talking about vibranium, and then they even mentioned Wakanda, and I was like, oh my gosh, I know what all that means. So it's like as I watch through the movies, the ones I haven't seen as much or in a long time or at all, I always like when I hear something that I recognize and I can be like, oh, I know what that is. So that was cool. And you see how he loses his arm, because when he's in Black Panther, he only has one arm, right? So that was also cool. What else did I like? Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, I want to talk about Natasha and Bruce forever. So I know that during Winter Soldier, I said that I was kind of shipping Natasha and Steve, but I totally obviously take all of that back now. And I had totally forgotten about this plot line, but I think that their connection, like I could see how you might feel like that's kind of forced just to have romance in there. But for me, like, I don't know, I'm like, I allow my headcanon to go like a little deeper with it. And to me, it seems like both of them in their own way, Bruce and Natasha, both feel inhuman. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously Bruce because of the Hulk and because of the, the burden he carries with that. And then Natasha because of her background and how she was taught to kill. And I think she has a lot of regret and a lot of sadness about that and about like what life could have been for her, et cetera, et cetera. So I think to them, it's like they're able to find humanity in each other, even though they both feel like maybe they don't like deserve that. I don't know. It's really compelling to me. I really loved it. I thought it was just like a lovely little touch to have in there. What else? Obviously, my favorite scene was the whole party scene when they're all trying to lift up Thor's hammer and all that. That was so funny. And then I loved the payoff at the end towards the end when Vision lifts up the hammer with no problem. So good. I LOL'd for sure. I love like that Steve, when he goes to move the hammer, like he does move it just like a fraction of a centimeter, and Thor is like, what? And then he's like, oh, okay, everything's fine. That was really funny. I loved Stanley's cameo in this one. It might be my favorite of his that we've seen so far. I just love that he got to be in that scene like with all of them, and it was just really cute. Loved it. The post credits for this one was Thanos. I know that that's Thanos because of how can you not know, but also because we saw him in Guardians and in the post credits of another movie. I forget which one. So I knew that. And he has the thing, which I know is called the Infinity Gauntlet, right? And he's like, I'm going to do it myself. So I don't know. I feel like everything is like leading up to Civil War. I'm so excited to watch Civil War. We have Ant-Man first. Don't forget about Ant-Man. But yeah, that's the movie I think that I'm most looking forward to seeing because I have not seen it at all. I don't know anything about it except that they're mad at each other. So, really excited about that one. And Ant-Man is next, which I'm excited to rewatch. I saw that in the theaters once as well. But yeah, Age of Ultron, I don't know. It impressed me. It was a lot cooler with all the full context. Now that I'm seeing it this time around, I definitely encourage a rewatch, especially if you watched WandaVision. it was just really fun. And yeah, so here's the full flip through. I did add the text off camera, and I like this like yellow motif. I don't know why, that just like was how I was feeling. And then on that page on the right, I wrote some of it one way and then flipped it and wrote the rest the other way. I don't know. I just thought that would look cool with the pictures in the middle like that. And it kind of made me think of how like Wanda was distorting their reality. That might be a little bit of a reach, but oh well. And then you'll see on the left, there's a little bit more stuff. And then on the right is the collage page for this movie, which I did do the Maximoff twins. And I used the quote that Agent Hill says, where she says, he's fast and she's weird. I just thought that was funny. So yeah, and I added a little details with white pen, and that's it. So I will see you next time for Ant-Man, and thanks for watching. Bye.